Now we're going to do some work with banners. You may want to present a message or messages to your incoming users as they get ready to connect to your router, whether that's locally or via Telnet. And also, there's one other reason we have to put banners on for especially Telnetting users. It's not enough to assume that people know they're not supposed to Telnet into your network and change things around. You have to tell them. And really, I mean, that's a legalism. You have to tell them, because if you didn't, their defense would be, I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. So you have to be able to show in court, here's our license, here's the warning that says we're going to feed you the alligators if we catch you coming in, etc. And sometimes when you telnet into, larger enterprise networks, I mean, you're presented with quite a message. And it's not quite to the length of those things, when you have to finally check at the bottom, I accept the license agreement. But it's getting that way. So we need to know how to write these banners. We're going to write them one at a time. And then we're going to telnet back in from router 3, and you'll see at what point they appear. Also, I'll go ahead and just keep logging out on router 1 as well locally, and you'll see that 2 out of the 3 banners will show up there as well. Also, when we're looking at iOS help here with the banner command, there's a slightly misleading message you're going to get, and I want to make sure that you're very clear on exactly what that means. Let's take a look at our banner choices to begin with. Now, on this particular router, we've got some slip and prompt timeout messages. We're just going to leave alone. Incoming, we're not going to mess with that. The 3 that we need to know for the CSENT and CCNA, we need to know the exec banner. We're also going to work with the login banner and the message of the day banner. And also this line, because this looks a little funny. You see C, banner text C, where C is a delimiting character. That's swell. What does it mean? Well, what it means is that you're going to use the same character to indicate the beginning of the banner and the end of the banner. That's how the router knows you're done. Otherwise, it would just think, okay, he's not configuring the router, he's still writing a banner. So the key here is, though, you can use any character you want to. You don't have to use the letter C. And I know that's how it reads. That's exactly what I thought the first time I saw it. It doesn't matter if you use the letter C, you're just not limited to it. But the key is you have to use the same character as your delimiting character at the beginning and the end of the banner. It's one of those things that sounds long-winded when you explain it. When you see it in action, it's like, oh, that's what he meant. So let's go ahead and try, first off, the message of the day. This is a good one for sending out a message or having a message like, the network's going down at 10 p.m. tonight for maintenance, that kind of thing. And we don't have a whole lot of options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a $sign for my delimiting character. You just enter that and hit it once. And then you enter text message, just like the router says. And when you're done, you need to enter the $sign as a separate character, and then you'll be done. So just put a message, network will be unavailable, 9 p.m. EST, July 4th. Nah, we'll just leave that alone. I was going to thank them for the patience, but they never have any, so we'll just leave it alone there. Then I'll put a $sign here at the end and hit enter, and you'll notice I drop back to the config. So let's go ahead and go to router 3. We're going to approach it from 2 different ways. We're going to approach it from router 3, and let's telnet to router 1. I still have all the passwords on from the previous video. And you can see the message already. I have not yet authenticated, but I am being told the network will be unavailable beginning 9 p.m. EST July 4th. This would be a good place for you to put your legal message. And if you get that from your legal department, you can just copy and paste it. You could just copy it from their email, paste it right in there with banner MOTD after your $sign, and then tack a $sign on the end, and you're done. But this is an excellent place to say, unauthorized users prohibited, that kind of thing. If you get caught, you're in real trouble. A little more legalese in there, I think. But let me go ahead and put Chris and Bryant in here. And we're good. But again, that banner message of the day banner is going to appear before you even enter anything. They're prompted for their username immediately, but they're shown that before they authenticate. So let me log out of that, and let's go back to router 1. And now let's log out of router 1. We're local now. And when I hit return to get started, you see that I am shown that message immediately. So I'm going to be shown that message one way or the other, whether I'm coming in via Telnet from a remote router or I just logged out the local router and then I'm coming back in. So that's a handy little tool. We also have a login banner, and let's take a look at that. It's our second option. We're going to go with login, and it's written the exact same way. Doesn't matter what you use for the delimiting character, it's just got to be the same at the beginning and the end. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a delimiting character. So we could use a pound sign and just drop that in, something along the lines of welcome to our network, etc. Then just put a $sign there. You can actually tailor a message on occasion, some banners, where you could actually put their name in it. Once we see what their login name is, welcome, Chris, to our network. We're not going to get that fancy here. And there we go. So let's just log out right here, router 1. And I don't think you're going to see it here. Yeah, you're not going to see it locally, but when we go out to router 3 and telnet in, I believe that's when you'll see the message. So, yep, it appears right under that one. So you could say, well, why do I bother with a login banner, that kind of thing, instead of a message of the day? You can use either one. I just want you to see where they come up. And that would be it. So let's log out of there. And we've got one more that we want to look at, and that is banner exec. And you will not be surprised to see that it's the exact same syntax. And let's use an asterisk for the delimiting character this time. And what shall we put for our banner exec? Welcome minions. No, we're not going to put that. Let's say you were just putting a test message, because you will get rusty with these, okay? You memorize where they are now, but banners are not exactly something that we write on a daily basis. So whenever I've written one for my equipment or someone else's, I always like to make sure I've practiced it first and tested it to make sure what it looks like. And test message is it. Now let's log out of there, and you'll see test message right there. Now with router 3, when we're telnetting in, you'll notice you don't see it yet. That's where you're going to see the banner exec for users that are telnetting in. You're going to see it after they authenticate, so it's a good thing to say, congratulations on your authentication or whatever you want to say to them. But if you want to say something to your incoming users or telnetting users before they authenticate, you need to use banner MOTD or banner login. And if you want to show them a message after they authenticate, you could use banner exec just like we just did. Really easy commands, absolutely nothing complex here at all. Just remembering where they show up is really the key, and it always has been. But just remember, you don't have to use a C there, but if you use different characters, your banner is not going to appear correctly. So just make sure you use the same character to start and begin. And that is it for your banners. I will see you on the next video.